I'm making this video to explain why I've made some of the pack decisions I've made and how each of these choices has sort of led into the next one. From about 2014 until now, I've been searching for a pack that's light, durable, versatile, and can carry loads comfortably. I've been more or less looking for one pack that could do everything. So the first pack I tried after leaving my 7.5 pound Dana Designs Astral Plane behind was the Hyperlite Mountain Gear 4400 Porter Pack. They advertised this pack as weighing about 40 ounces or 2.5 pounds. If you add the stuff pocket, it's a little bit more like 44 ounces, maybe 46 ounces, somewhere around there. So I used the large, which is a 22-inch frame, meaning it's 22 inches as measured from the very bottom of the pack to the place where the shoulder straps attach to the pack, and this was advertised as being the right size for my 19.5-inch torso. And what this means for my torso size is that the shoulder straps attach basically right at the top of my shoulders. I used this pack for both pack rafting and general backpacking for a couple years before finally deciding that some combination of the shoulder straps attaching right at the top of my shoulders, the thinness of the strap padding, the binding on the edge of the straps, or possibly the space between the straps being a little bit too narrow to accommodate my neck, left my neck sore after pretty much every trip. And so I decided to search for something that would be more comfortable for carrying heavy loads, specifically for pack rafting. What I landed on was the Seek Outside Divide 4500. It can be configured a bunch of different ways, but mine has typically been right around 57 ounces with a bunch of straps and one hip belt pocket attached. With frame extensions, the frame is 26 inches, which is pretty tall, but because the hip belt attaches a little bit up from the very bottom, it's effectively not quite a 26-inch frame. Anyway, it carries weight exceptionally well. Likely my hips and knees will just go before this pack fails. The only reason this pack doesn't fall into the category of quiver-killer is because it's pretty heavy and the bulkiness isn't great for like desert canyon scrambling and that sort of thing. That said, if you carry over 40 pounds regularly and most of your trips include pack rafting gear, this is a really great pack and I would highly recommend it. Then in 2019, I was going to do a sort of longer desert trip where I needed to stay light, but then it would include some water hauls, and I wanted something as comfortable as the Divide but lighter. I still had the large Hyperlite Mountain Gear Porter 4400 at the time, but remembering those problems with the fit of the pack and the neck pain it caused, I came to believe that for comfort it would be necessary for shoulder straps to wrap around the shoulder. This would generally solve the problems that the large HMG had. The thing is though, when you go this route, it's pretty much necessary to have load lifters. And I know the Hyperlite packs are designed specifically not to have load lifters, and I don't think that this is inherently a problem, but I think it would likely take some sort of redesign for it to actually work. That said, I have used other packs with a load lifterless design, and it can totally work, where the shoulder straps are designed to attach right at the top of the shoulder rather than wrap around, and it totally works. Both the Mountain Laurel Designs Exodus 55-liter pack in a large and the YAR.gear Mountain Drifter fit me in the exact same way as the HMG large, but they work for probably 3 reasons. First, the shoulder straps are wider. Both of them are about 3 inches. The MLD straps are thicker. The YAR.gear straps aren't quite as thick, but the binding on the edges isn't very substantial, and so it has a lot of flexibility to it, a lot of give. And also, third, I'm not carrying a ton of weight with these packs, and so I think this sort of design where the shoulder straps attach right at the top of the pack can work just fine if you're carrying 30 pounds or less. and my MLD I feel like tops out around 30 and the YAR maybe around 25. Anyway, all that just to set the record straight on the whole shoulder strap load lifter thing. Okay, so anyway, I searched and searched for a pack that would have this sort of wrap around my shoulders and load lifters, and didn't really come up with anything. So I purchased a Hyperlite Mountain Gear Southwest 3400 pack, and I rigged some load lifters on it, and I can put a link to the video where I describe how to do that. And I used it on those 2019 trips and it worked pretty well, but it still wasn't perfect, and I wanted to find something that was actually built with load lifters and still came in around those weights. And the Southwest was about 32 ounces. So the next one I tried was the Seek Outside Flight, and there were a couple problems with this pack. First was my own fault. I bought it in a 22-inch torso, meaning it was 22 inches as measured from the very bottom of the pack to the place where the load lifters attach. And so with my 19.5-inch torso, once that was loaded up, the load lifters were just ineffective, and they were just basically right at the top of my shoulders. All they really did is bring the load forward. The other problem is that this pack has a removable hip belt, and I understand that they did this to sort of streamline production, but what it means is because it velcros in, and it velcros just in the center, and the two sides of the hip belt velcro together, there isn't really anything rigid in there to transfer the weight of the pack onto your hips, and it tends to collapse. And this is, I think, an inherent flaw in this pack. Anyway, that pack is 36 to 38 ounces, which is pretty good weight. The next pack I tried is the Hanchor Marl. It has a 24-inch frame with the shoulder straps sewn on at about 20 inches from the bottom. And this is a really good size for my 19.5-inch torso, and it fits pretty well. It's pretty comfortable. The only downside is the straps are a little bit thin, and the binding on the edge of the straps is pretty similar to the Hyperlite Mountain Gear straps. It weighs 40 ounces, and it is a really good looking pack. I can still recommend this pack over the Hyperlite packs and over the Seek Outside Flight one for a pack in that sort of category. And it's 55 liters. So then the next pack that I got the opportunity to try is the Superior Wilderness Designs Big Wild 70. I got a prototype version of this pack. It's a large, it has a 26-inch frame, and the shoulder straps for the 26-inch frame will be sewn on at about 22 inches, which seems a lot bigger than all of these other packs for my torso size, but once it's loaded up, it's a good size for my torso. Depending on the material, it's going to be around 40 ounces. I think it could be as low as 36 ounces. This is an extremely light pack for being 70 liters and carrying weight comfortably. It has really thick and really wide shoulder straps, which make a huge difference. It has, maybe most importantly, the hanging hip belt, and this belt seems to allow it to transfer weight basically as well as the Seek Outside Divide, and it is a full pound lighter than my Divide, and so because it carries seemingly just as well with loads up to 50 pounds, I don't really see any reason to use the Divide right now, especially considering I don't like carrying more than 50 pounds anyway. You could still carry an elk with the Divide. If you're going to carry a quarter of an elk, you should probably use one of those Seek Outsides. Anyway, once I get a production model of the Big Wild, I'll do a more in-depth review of that. So I guess the main point is it does everything that I wanted all of the other packs to do. It's more comfortable than the Hyperlite Mountain Gear packs or the Flight 1 or the Hanchor Marl. It's as comfortable as the Divide and a pound lighter. It checks all of those boxes. It is light, durable, versatile, and can carry loads comfortably. And then the next pack that I've had the opportunity to try is the Superior Wilderness Designs Long Haul 50. This pack weighs about 32 ounces, and my version here is made of Ultra Weave 200 and 400. It's mostly 200 for the body and 400 for the bottom and the pockets. And I haven't put it through enough testing to know how durable these fabrics are yet, but I imagine it's pretty durable. And this is a very comfortable pack for being a 32 ounce pack. It's basically exactly what I wanted the HMG Southwest to be when I was trying to rig that thing with load lifters, and it's also basically a better version of the Hanchor Marl. This medium Superior Wilderness Designs Long Haul is also the same size as the large Hanchor Marl, meaning it's a 24-inch frame with shoulder straps sewn on at 20 inches from the bottom. So I haven't tested this pack enough to know how good it's going to be, but I'll come back with a review of that after I've tested it a bit more. So that's all I have for now. I hope that helped explain why I made some of the choices I've made, so that you don't have to buy as many packs as me and you can just jump straight to something that works really well. Yeah, okay.